Hello everybody, this is Havoc, and welcome to a video that I know several of you have been anticipating. This is a very daunting task, and I'm not quite sure how it's going to end, but we're going to roll with it. Today, I am doing the Roman Empire faction overview for the Ancient Empires mod. I know several of you have asked for it, and I'm like, I'll get to it. It's just an overly daunting task. And straight up front, I want to let you know that the roster for the Roman Empire that is in the mod currently is 1/5 of the units that they were going to have in this game. Now you're going to see the amount of troops here and you're going to be like, dear holy lord, why are there so many? Well, A, it's only 1/5. The only reason why it's 1/5 is because they tried adding more, and it's so many units for a faction that they actually crashed the game. This is literally the maximum amount of units that they could put into a faction. I want you guys to remember that, because there are a lot of units in this Empire faction. So let's hop right on into it, and let's have a blast doing so. Right off the bat, we have 3 different generals that we can employ. We have the Legatus Legionis. This is your standard legionary cavalry. They have excellent morale, good armor rating, and a good charge rating. Their morale is very, very high. 15 morale is quite a bit high, especially for even a cav unit is pretty good. Next, we have Caesar Divi Filius Augustus. Caesar Augustus, the second Caesar, essentially from Julius Caesar himself. He has an excellent morale, good armor rating, and a good charge rating. This dude is buffed. He has 16 morale, 10 armor, 13 defense, 10 melee offense. He has a very nice charge. However, he does not have a ranged unit. He doesn't need one. And then last but not least, we have Gaius Julius Caesar himself. So whenever you play a custom battle, you will get to play as either Julius Caesar or Caesar Augustus. Those are both really, really good guys to have. He has the same stats as Caesar Augustus. Nonetheless, he is a magnificent warrior. Alright. Let's dive into it. This first set, 10 units, the Marian Legionaries. We're going to start from the basics and we're going to go all the way to the top. Now, as you can see, these guys don't really change a whole lot from one tier to another. It's all these guys pretty much have the same. All of these guys pretty much have the same. So I'm not going to go over the same statistics for every single one of these units. That's going to help reduce on time a little bit. The Marian Legion start out with Legio the First Germanica cohorts. These are very heavy Marian Legionnaires. They have excellent morale rating of 12. They have a missile weapon, which is one of the biggest ranged offense weapons I've seen for a melee unit. They have a ranged offense 12. That's pretty heavy. Actually, it's super heavy. The most I've seen is 11. On average, it's anywhere from 7 to 9 for your ranged offense attacks. So that is huge. They don't have the best charge rating. They're meant to dig their shields in, hold it down, and do that. And that's representative in the melee defense. They have a melee defense of 16. That is huge. That is absolutely huge. A melee offense of 10. Their armor rating is 11, so they are going to be very heavy. And their morale is actually really high as well. There aren't too many melee units or just ground units in general that have that morale rating so incredibly high. So we have Legio the First Germanica cohorts. We have Legio the Third, the Gallica cohorts. Now these are essentially legionary legionnaires, right? So they're all going to be the same type of troop. They're just going to be different regions. So that really makes for some really cool custom battles, and it makes it to where you can set up a lot of cool stuff. Now these are not area of recruitment, at least not initially. They don't have the AOR in there, and so it's going to be a little different. You may be able to recruit Gallica cohorts over here in Rome. You may be able to recruit Germanica cohorts over in the Middle East. I don't know, but at least we're doing this for multiplayer, so you can have a whole bunch of troops from different areas, or you can have a whole bunch of troops from one area. Again, custom battles really, really work well for the Roman Empire. We have Legio the Fourth Macedonica cohorts, excuse me. And I forgot to take a look down here. They have a charge defense versus cav, can hide in force, they're disciplined, they can form a shield wall, which is super heavy, and they have attacking testudo. Now pretty much all of these troops, all of the melee troops, will have that same thing. I forgot to mention that earlier. We have Legio the 6th Ferrata cohorts. We have Legio the 8th cohorts. We have Legio, what is that, the 15th? The 15th Legion cohorts. So those are going to be your top ones. These guys are going to be just a little better offense or defense, a little better morale. And they also have, they inspire their allies. They are disciplined. They have a decent stamina. And they only cost on average about 60 more. Now you will notice, even your very base Marian Legionnaires are going to cost 720. That is huge. That means you will not be able to field a large Roman army, but it will still be absolutely destructive. I just want to throw that out there. So, over here we have Legio the 1st Germanica Prima cohorts, and these are essentially going to be the same. Legio the 3rd Gallica Prima cohorts, Legio the 4th Macedonica Prima cohorts, Legio the 6th Ferrata Prima cohorts, Legio the 13th, excuse me, did I just say 13th up here? I didn't, I think I said the 8th. 13th cohort, Prima cohorts, and then Legio the 15th Prima cohorts. So again, for 60, you know, it depends on what you want to do. I want to get these. These are Eagle troops. These are the troops that have the Eagle standards on them. So they're going to inspire their allies. That's the purpose of the Eagle. And the Eagle falls, it's absolutely destructive to your armies. Let's go down to the next one. We have the Augustan Legionnaires. It's going to be the same setup. So I'm going to run through this top layer, and you're just going to know you're going to have +1 melee defense and a little bit higher morale with these Eagle cohorts giving that inspiration for their allies. So it's the same thing. Augustan, we have 3 different time periods. We have the Marian, Augustan, and Imperial. So again, the Germanica cohorts, you got Augusta, you got Gemina. These are a little different. Legio the 2nd Augusta, Legio the 10th Gemina, you got Legio the 13th cohorts, you have Legio the 15th cohorts, and Legio the 20th Valeria Victrix cohorts. These guys are just, they had so many different legions, and it's just massive and amazing that we have such a wide variance for this faction. And again, these guys are the Eagle standards for those previous Augustan Legionnaires. Imperial Legionnaires are going to be just a little different. They are a little more heavily armored. Their shield design is much different than the beginning. And this again, I think in the campaign you actually go through these reforms. So again, Imperial Legionnaires really wouldn't be seen with the Augustan or the Marian Legionnaires. They kind of went through a reformation with the Augustan and then a reformation again through the Imperial. Now these guys do cost a lot, 820 a piece, starting at the beginning, all the way up to 850, and then up to 1,000 almost for these guys at the end. Legio the 2nd Augusta cohorts, Legio the 3rd Cyrenica cohorts, Legio the 8th Gemina cohorts, Legio the 1st Germanica cohorts, they make a comeback. Legio the 13th Augusta cohorts, and then Legio the 10th Fretensis cohorts. And again, their Eagle standard just below them. So that right there, that is 30 units of melee infantry, and those are just the Legionnaires. Scrolling down, we have auxiliary melee infantry. And these guys are going to be a little different. These are cohorts Canifatium. These are reformed guys. These are auxiliary troops, auxiliary melee troops. So they're going to be a little different. They have a very nice ranged offense rating. Their melee defense is high. Their armor or their morale isn't quite as high, and they do not have a fantastic armor rating. Something to keep mentioning, but they are half the price of a Legionnaire, so you have to kind of pick and choose. We have cohorts Celtibororum. These guys are the same thing. I mean, it's pretty much, and there's a little bit of variance, but not anything too great until you get to cohorts Batavorum. Now the difference is staggering between these guys and the cohorts Batavorum. They have a very high armor rating. They still have that ranged offense, still have that morale, but they're still heavy auxiliary melee troops. Cohorts Thabiorum, well, that's a tongue twister, have a little slightly higher armor rating, but they have a lower melee or charge rating. And then last but not least, cohorts Batavorum Malaria. And these guys are pretty stinking stacked. A high melee defense, high melee offense, ranged offense. They have morale, they have an armor rating. Again, they're disciplined, they have attacking testudo. They are resistant to cold, that's really cool. Yeah, as you can see, these guys are resistant to heat, so these are definitely going to be area type places. And then a high morale. Dumping down to the auxiliary spear infantry, it's going to be the same kind of deal. Cohors Petrorium, heavy auxiliary spearmen. They're going to be more melee than defense. They have a pretty high armor rating, and their morale is definitely higher. Cohors Galorum, they have a very nice armor rating. Very nice. I mean, these guys are just stacked. The Roman Empire is just stacked. So you have Galorum Cohors, you have Macedonica Cohors, you have Cohors of Afrorium, that's a little weird way to say it, and then Cohors Galorium Malaria, or Miliaria, excuse me. Alright, so we are done with the melee troops, but you're still talking almost 40 troops in that alone. We have auxiliary archers, we have Cohors Sagittarium. Yeah, these guys are really hard to say. Cohors Sagittarium, whatever. They have a very high ammunition rate. They have a ranged offense. It's not too great, but it's not bad. Their missile range is actually a lot higher than a lot of other archers are, at least base archers. They have a nice armor rating, and they have a nice morale. So these guys could fight in combat decently well, at least enough to get in some reinforcements to fight them. And then you have Cohors Sagittarorum Damascinorum. These are going to be basically Damascus cohorts for the auxiliary archers. Getting down into auxiliary melee infantry, we have Alpha the First Ulpia. Wow, these guys are hard to say. Dromedarium. These guys are not going to actually be too bad. They have a very high ranged offensive attack. They have a nice charge rating, decent melee offense, a pretty daggum good melee defense. Armor rating isn't the best, it's average, but they do have a high morale. All of these troops are pretty much going to have a high morale. You bump up, you have all about Batavorium. These guys are going to be resistant to cold, like the other melee troops were. And they are actually not that bad. They have a higher melee defense and a much higher armor rating, so they will be good. You have Ala Gororum. You have Ala Hispanorum. And then you have, excuse me, Ayla. It's probably Ayla. It's probably not Ala. I'm not trying to be religious here, but I'm going to say Ayla, Parthorum Veterana. Now, these guys are very stacked. These guys are doing really good work here. They have high armor, they have good morale, and they have a really good charge rating. And apparently they're resistant to heat. So we have two sets of Legionary Cav. We have your standard Legionary Cav. Again, they have really, really good ranged offense. They have high defense, a high armor rating, and a really high morale. We're going to bring them up to the Imperial Legionary Cav. And again, this is why unit tiers don't really matter. These guys have the same stats. Everything is the same, but they're tier 2. These guys are tier 3. Doesn't make a difference either way. We got two sets of auxiliary horse archers. These are Ayla Sagittarium, Pathorum. These guys are reformed auxiliary horse archers. Again, the Roman Empire integrated everyone they conquered and eventually integrated them into the army, especially during the imperial era. So it just makes sense that we're having all these different regions come in all at once. These guys have an excellent ammunition. This is one of the highest ammunition ratings that I've ever seen. They have a nice range. Their attack isn't that great for the range, but it definitely works because they have so much ammo, they're still going to be able to whittle them down. They have a missile range of 160, which is incredible, because I don't see many horse archers having that kind of a range compared to standard land foot horse archer or foot archers. Their charge rating is very poor. You're not going to use them to charge in unless you have absolutely nothing else to do, and you have nothing left to worry about, and or you're that desperate. They have +6 melee offense. They're not going to be that great. They're not going to be great in melee defense. Their armor rating is high, and so is their morale. Now, one thing to note, they are resistant to heat. These guys have Parthian shot, which means they can fire all around and not just in front of each other. They can fire while they are moving. They can hide in forests, which is pretty standard. They are disciplined, which means they're not going to rout as easily. They have flaming shot and regular shot. So, last but not least, we have just a few units left. We have our Praetorian Guard. Now, these are the only units, I believe, that have a unit cap to them. Now, they are 1,000 apiece, so you're going to spend a lot of money employing both of these in a custom battle. But the Praetorian Guard, they have excellent morale, they have missile weapons, and a good armor rating. Again, that ranged offense is some of the highest that's ever been seen. They have a ranged offense of 12. Their melee offense is 14. Their melee defense is 17. That is one of the highest melee defenses I've seen as well. Their armor rating is very high, and their morale is 16. And these guys are going to be nearly unbreakable, but they were the elite of the elite for the Romans, so it makes complete sense. They have a charge defense versus cavalry, immune to fear. Makes sense. They can hide in forests, and they inspire their allies, and they're also disciplined. And then at the very last, we have some artillery, which is pretty standard. You have your Scorpio, which has a very high ranged offensive attack. Their missile range is very high. They have a high amount of ammunition. Their rate of fire isn't the best, and their morale is decently high, though. And then you have your Chiro Ballistra, and these guys are going to have a much higher missile range. Their ranged offensive attack is a little better, and then their rate of fire is the same. If you want mobility, you can go with the Ballista. These guys will move when you need them to. High ammo. Ranged offense is higher than the Scorpios. The Scorpio. And their missile range is actually going to be greater than both of those guys. Their rate of fire is much lower, but they still have a really good high morale. So, and then you have your giant ballista. These guys are insane. I mean, these guys should be... They are 3,000 apiece, whereas your ballista are 2,000. And again, they have a higher ranged offensive. They have a much higher missile range. Their rate of fire is very slow, and then their morale again is very high. And these guys cannot. Oh, these guys, they cannot run. They cannot run and will only move at a walking pace, which is a little bizarre. Oh, all right, guys. So for talking. I don't know what, 10 minutes probably now at this point, we have finally gotten through the Roman Empire. I am going to do my best. I'm not going to show off all of these units. I'm not going to have only Eagle units, but I will try to do the best that I can with the amount. I may actually bump up the amount, and then we're actually going to fight a 2v1 against some Germans, and let's see how, or Germans and Gauls, and we'll see how well that goes. So, I will see you on the battlefield. Alright guys, and we are going into this battle. I am super psyched, guys. You have no idea. We're looking at just over 13,000 troops, I believe. Let's see. Let's take a look here. Oh, just under about 12 and a half. So it's not as much as I expected, but I really wanted to make sure we got some good battle things in here without having to worry about some major lag. So as you can see, my Roman troops, they're just so gorgeous looking. That formation is just absolutely amazing. The Germanic troops, the Gaulish troops, the Celts, they're not quite in such a grand formation, but that's all right. So we're going to break it down, and then we're going to get right on into it. Manning in the front. This is amazing. I love this. We have our Eagle, Legio I Germanica Aquilae cohorts from the Imperial era. These guys, look at that. Look at that glorious Eagle unit in battle. Actually not in battle, getting ready to get into battle. These guys look really good. So the Eagle unit's going to stand in front. He's going to lead his allies. Raise the Eagle. We get 20% melee offense and 20% morale for 75 meters, I'm assuming, and it targets the self. Absolutely amazing. We're going to be excited about that. And then behind them are his Legio I Germanica cohorts, his friendly legions. That's essentially what we have over here. We have 3 sets of legionaries, each led by their Eagle counterpart. So we have Legio the 13th of Augusta Aquilae cohorts, and then we have our Legio the 2nd Augusta Aquilae. Oh, those are the same thing. That's a little bizarre. Huh. Augusta cohorts, and I thought these were Germanica. Oh well, different legions, same name, they all look gorgeous. I mean, those shields are absolutely amazing. Absolutely gorgeous. Just love the variance in them. I just want to take a screenshot of all of the Eagles. Kind of give it an idea. Get that Eagle in there just right. Awesome. Look at that. Alright, so let's continue. On behind them, the ranged, we have our cohorts Sagittarium Cretentium Veterana. These guys are the reformed auxiliary archers. I am going to actually have them all on flaming shot. Who cares about historical accuracy? This is just going to look really cool. Behind them in our federal reserves, we have Custodes Praetorii, and then we have 2 units of cohorts Praetorii. These guys are just going to be epic. This dude is in a wall. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Very, very exciting stuff. We have 2 units of legionary cavalry from the Imperial era over here, battered and torn shields. And then we have our 4 units of Ala Sagittorium Parthorum, Parthian horse archers, essentially. Looking very, very sweet. Actually, all these guys will probably be flaming shot as well. We'll do regular shot. And then over here, lastly for the cav, we have a couple more units of those legionary cav from the Imperial era. And then, last but not least, we have Caesar Divi Filius Augustus. Yeah, that's right, guys. We have Caesar Augustus, who's going to be our general for today. Hopefully he will be able to wreck some guys. We have our war cry, which is my favorite general cry ever. Alright, guys, I have a feeling this is going to be absolutely ridiculous. We will experience some lag. I'm just going to go ahead and forewarn you. We're not as many as I've done before, but we are at a point where we could very much experience this. Let's go ahead and hit that play button. I feel confident enough that I can move everyone in. We've got a little bit of time. And I really just want to get a look. Let's actually have all of you guys walk. Yeah, as you can see, we're already experiencing some lag. So that means slow motion time. Look at these guys. Does that not look absolutely glorious? I mean, that would be intimidating as crap right now. I would be crapping my pants in every literal sense. Because you just can't beat that formation. Just that formation, that charge, just that crouched looking. Oh my word. Now our horsemen, they're going to be just a little bit faster, so we're actually going to drop them out. I'm going to drop them here. Now I'm actually going to go ahead and start skirmishing. Now we are playing against the Marcomanni and the Averni. It's an odd little relationship they got going, but it's definitely going to work. And that's just so many troops. Yeah, we're definitely lagging big time. And all these farmers are just chilling. They're not even like running away. Just like, whatever. Are they going to get killed? Nope, we're just going to allow them to filter through, which really kind of breaks up our formation. That is a very, very rude thing to do. Alright, so our troops are reforming. We are all fresh. Yeah. See, what do we got here? We got some Celtic noble horse. We also have our 2 generals over here. We have a Celtic Guard Cav, and we have some Germanic leader. That's his official name. Awesome. So these guys are going to come to us. We have our hidden troops here, which is awesome. See if we can't lead these guys into a trap. I really don't know how well we're going to do against those Germanic noble horse. But they are receiving a charge rating of minus 10% and minus 10% speed. Here we go. The men are ready. Huzzah! We're going to drop back. I'm going to drop my legionnaires, or my praetorians over here. Well, let's go after these guys and see if we can't rout them. Don't rout. Don't rout. Was not able to pull them out in time, and we are playing in regular time here, so it is kind of a deadly thing we got going on. And I'm actually going to go ahead and drop my Praetorians over on this side as well. We're going to make a nice flank, and that charge. Again, ranged units across just about all of the Romans and about a lot of the factions in general really make this for an interesting game to play as, because everyone has something. Oh, we're getting wrecked. Yep, we just lost them some Celtic noble horse. We may lose the Cav battle. The Cav battle is my thing. If I lose it, we're in a world of hurt. So we're going to draw these lines up here. I'm going to create kind of a crooked scene. These guys are definitely going to hold strong. We're going to put them in shield wall. Those guys are a little too late to be in shield wall. We are going to raise the banner, though. Give ourselves a little morale buff. Let's get in there. Let's actually hit these guys in the back and hope that they don't charge into me. It's important to keep troops in reserve. I've mentioned that several times before, and in no better situation is it prevalent now, because we're definitely going to need to make sure that we have enough troops left over to fight the rest of these guys. So we're bringing our Praetorians in over here, and that will definitely make these Celtic Noble Horse rout. Got more Celtic Noble Horse. These guys are slipping through. I'm going to take out those dudes. Going to give them a morale debuff. That morale debuff is definitely going to help us win every single time. Come on, hit those Noble Horse. Go there. Go there. Oh, we did get hit in the back. They did hit us in the back. And it looks like they're going to go after those guys and hit those guys in the back. We are not seeing very good odds here. The bar is not in our favor whatsoever. However, we do have guys that are fresh. And I'm keeping these guys, you know, actually legitimately for a good reason in the back. So if I see they start routing, we'll definitely just be able to lift them up and reinforce them. Now I'm going to get this guy to drop in some melee defense and morale buffs. We're going to charge in with Augustus to rout this unit of Tengteri Cav. I'm really glad I didn't put more people in this battle. I'm not going to lie. These guys are reforming. Perfect. We've routed that guy. We've routed those troops. Let's get these back over here. Let's get my general out of the mix. And we are going to hit some slow motion time. And I'm just going to take a look at these guys. Here we go. We have some Night Warriors hounding on this dude. Hounding on him. Oh, and then he gets driven back. Look at that. So many people dying everywhere. This line is ginormous. I mean, look at this battle line. It's almost, probably at least half the width of the battlefield. Absolutely unbelievable. Our guys are holding the line very well. As you can see, all those troops are jumbled up here, but our lines are just holding it. They are holding it spectacularly. Oh my word, it's amazing. They have broken through a little bit here. We're going to reinforce that area a little bit. We already have, actually. Let's see how these guys are doing morale-wise. Morale-wise, they're actually doing not so great. I am going to bring in my Praetorians at this point. We've hit these guys in the back with our Praetorians. Those Noble Horse should rout pretty easily. We're going to move out, and we're going to attack these Tengteri Cav. And again, we're going to start... Oh, how did they get through? Doesn't seem like something that should happen. Let's hit play. We are going to form up against these guys. Let's see if our men, how long until they can raise the banner again. Let's actually turn Flaming Shot off. Hit these guys from the side. We're going to start going after their cav, or their archers. Since we won on that side, we've won on this side for a little bit. I'm actually going to draw these troops in. These guys have been routing for a good while. Let's go ahead and watch this charge. Let's get in some animations and see how well it looks. These Night Warriors. That guy's like, hey, what's that? What's that? Oh, I don't think I see anyone. Oh, crap. That's right. You got some legionaries charging in. Again, they don't have the best charge. Oh, but look at that. That shield bashing. Oh my word. And they're just going to plow right into the guys. Oh, look at that. Blood everywhere. This is amazing. I am just so happy right now. As you can see that that effect that those attacks have. Oh, you just got stabbed in the stomach. There we go. You got a couple of dudes out here who are out there on their own, all back to back to each other, protecting their comrades from anything that might happen to them until the other legionnaires can get caught up, and that's what they are doing. They are carving their way through these Night Warriors. How else are we doing over here? We're actually doing pretty good. I'm going to bring it out over here. I'm going to drop a morale debuff on this flank. If we can secure this flank, I think we will pretty much have the battle because we're bringing our Praetorian troops into here. And we're going to move and try and take these guys out. Yeah, those warriors are dead for sure. We're getting our general, Augustus, out of there. We're actually going to set him up for hammer and anvil. But as you can see, we've got a nice big bowed position. Nope, that's actually not what I wanted to do. Alright, well, we're just going to look right here. As you can see, we've got a nice bowed position. And this is a really good formation to use, as again, that bow really allows the troops to hit into you, and it also makes it harder for them to flank your position. So if it's something that you can get away with, I would definitely recommend doing it. Plus, again, it allows your cav to have easier access to the backside of these troops, like this. Now, I am looking in the future, by the way, to definitely get some person-on-person kind of battles. These battles, the AI tends to do the same thing. They won't outmaneuver you. They will literally just throw units at you and take up your whole front line. So in terms of playing against the AI, it is a very easy way to outflank and then just hammer and anvil. It's what I pretty much do every time because it seems to work every time. Now that is only against the AI. Of course, if you were to bring in an actual player, things would be much different. And I do have a couple of battles coming up in the next week featuring those and just showing the different things that can happen when you have a human playing both with you and against you versus when it's just the AI. So just be on the lookout. Don't expect every single Ancient Empire video to be like this. Just expect every faction overview to basically be the same thing because that's just what they do. We're going to bring our Praetorians around. Actually, they're probably pretty tired. They're winded. These guys are tired. But that's alright, because we're going to bring those guys up. We have a unit over here. Alright, so yeah, we're definitely going to be able to hammer and anvil these guys. I'm actually going to bring these I'm going to actually take out these shot cav. We're going to charge into here. I'll let my Praetorians rest just a little bit. Oh wow, my general's being attacked. Sneaky, sneaky, sneaky. We'll bring these guys around. I don't know where those Celtic heavy horse came from. Hit those guys in the back. We're actually going to retreat. Seriously, like, super sneaky on the AI. Right when I say they do the same thing every time, they come right out and do something different. And as you can see, they're starting to rip units apart from the main battle line to compensate for my troops being out here. We're actually going to tell these guys to all just shoot those back lines. Let's get after those Celtic archers. You know what? We can raise morale. Not only that, our eagles can raise their banners again. Now look at this. Their morale is at 12 again. Yeah, they're not routing for a while. Could actually sneak back around. Get those guys engaged. Come on. Let's go after their Germanic leader. It's still a grind. This is not something that we're just easily pressing into. Hit those Celtic noble horse in the backside. We're after those Tingtari. Get out of there. Our cohorts, our archers, are still firing steadily. They will continue doing that throughout the entirety of the battle, by the way. Their morale is the Batavian swordsmen, is that right? Yeah, their morale is at 15. These guys are not going to rout quickly at all. Make for a nice battle. Hit those guys in the back. So you can see we only have 2 units of our melee swordsmen, our legionary cav, left. So they're definitely doing a number on us. Here we go. We're slowly but surely peeling off and taking these guys out. Let's get those Celtic warband. And it looks like their right side is starting to collapse a little bit. Let's get our general out. So it seems we've won that engagement against his cav. I do believe that is the last of them. And we're just going to form right here. We're going to let these guys rest up. These guys are active, but those guys are tired. So we're going to draw our line over here. Now their general's ticked. He is mad. He's just going to come out and kamikaze me to death. But we're going to hit those archers. Yep. Yeah, they're gonna wreck us pretty quickly. Hit those Celtic noble warband in the back. Oh, still not super in our favor, still pretty laggy, but they're actually doing a really good job attacking. We're just going to hit these guys in the back. I really need their morale to drop. And if we can draw one of their leaders out, that would be really nice. Peel out over there. These guys are getting caught. We may lose this cav engagement. Let's get back. How are we doing over on this line? As you can see, we let him rest up. He's only active now, which is great. He's going to take out those Celtic noble warband fairly easily. And again, it's just a grind. It's just gonna be a grind. We're going to go over here. Morale buff to these guys. Morale debuff, and then a hit in the back. Morale's still at 10. These guys just aren't going to rout very easily at all. There we go. There we go. Need both of you units to come out here. You guys have come back. That's awesome. You're going to hit these guys in the back. Now we need to get our general out. I don't want Caesar Augustus to die. Not today. He's fresh. We're going to move him into the battle. We're going to reform up. I'm going to hit these dudes in the back. Forget it. You're now a melee troop. I didn't think you... Bet you never knew that, did you? We have those guys. Those guys are going to hold out for a very long time. We still have plenty of troops left over. That's the kicker. Is that we have troops here who haven't even fought in battle yet. They are going to stay that way until I absolutely need them the very, very most. And then we're going to hit these Batavian swordsmen in the back. Such a bloody, bloody battle. There we go. We're going to crush them in between our own legionnaires. So many of them just hit, and then they're dead. And that should pretty much cause an auto rout, as you can see it is. Very nice. Awesome. We're going to get these 2 units. We're going to draw them up here. Minus Caesar Augustus. Hit those guys now. You know what? These guys haven't seen action, so we're going to get them into the battle. Go after them. Go after them. Again, you're going to turn into melee cav. You're going to reform up. Their general has routed. That is crucial. We're going to meet them in battle. And we're going to hit these guys. We're going to hit these guys. We're going to give a boost to our own troops. And then we're going to morale debuff. And that should cause pretty much an instant rout. Reform up. Get these guys reformed. We're actually going to drop these dudes out to here. There we go. That's their entire center column. Pursue it. There we go. Mass rout in that middle there. Keep pressing them. I know you're tired. These guys have been doing spectacular. I've been super impressed with how well the Roman army does. Rout. Pull through. Let's see if you guys can raise that banner. With that raised banner, man, it's almost impossible for them to rout. Using them all at the right time. We're going to drop this dude over here. Drop that guy out. We'll bring our troops out there. We're going to hit these dudes in the back. Surround them again. And then pretty much get this entire front legionary troop to... They're going to rout. And I think that's pretty much going to be the end. As soon as he routs, these other guys are just going to rout with them. These guys are going to get hit in the back. There we go. Finally, our frame rate's high enough. There we go, and that's the end of the battle, ladies and gentlemen. In that battle, heroic victory. Oh, we only lost 1,200 troops. Our guys were absolute beasts. Absolute beasts. I absolutely love every single bit of that battle. Looks like 210 units. What do we got? We got 333 these Augusta cohorts. We've got quite a few, over 300 for each of those, 100 over here. Our cohorts Praetorian, they got almost 600 between the two of them. And then our cohorts Praetorii, they definitely did some good work there. So guys, I do hope you enjoyed this preview of the Roman Empire. Again, that roster that I showed you was 1/5 of the total army that they wanted to put into the mod. They were just limited by how much the mod could handle. So there could have been well over 200 different units for the Roman Empire. But anyways, I do hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Follow me on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Be on the lookout for more Ancient Empires faction previews. This is Havoc, and I'm out of here. Peace!